Our Bears are sitting at the top of the NFC with 9 wins and 3 losses. But behind that shining record hides an uncomfortable truth that the head coach just exposed without filters. While an 8-year veteran linebacker just became available on the market and could be the missing piece for the defense, the team leader dropped a devastating bomb about the passing game that has everyone talking. And although a renowned NFL insider revealed the secret behind Chicago's rebirth, the question nobody can ignore is whether the franchise quarterback is truly ready to take this team to glory. This is what you need to know right now. Kyzir White just became available on the free agent market after the Tennessee Titans, and he mutually agreed to part ways this morning. And let me tell you something, this is exactly the type of opportunity that Ryan Poles cannot let slip away if he truly wants the Bears to go far in the playoffs. White is 29 years old with 8 seasons of NFL experience. Last year in Arizona, he had one of the best campaigns of his career, finishing second on the team with 137 tackles and 9 tackles for loss. He wore the green dot on the Cardinals' defense, which means he was the brain on the field, the guy who communicated plays and adjusted the defense in real time. Now, I know what you're thinking. If he was so good, why didn't he get a contract before the season started? That's a valid question. White was available all summer and finally signed with Tennessee right before the regular season kicked off. But things didn't work out there. He only played 32 snaps with the Titans before both parties decided it was better to go separate ways. Here's the thing. The emergence of second-year linebacker Cedric Gray in Tennessee left White without a clear role. But that doesn't mean the guy can't play. He has 73 career starts as a starter. He knows the game. He's been in pressure situations. And most importantly, he has experience as a defensive communicator, something the Bears desperately need right now. Tremaine Edmonds could miss the rest of the season. DeMarco Jackson has done an admirable job since he took over the green dot. But let's be honest, this guy has been mainly a special teams player throughout his entire career. Same thing with Armin Ogbongbemiga. They're nice stories. But when you look at Chicago's remaining schedule, each and every opponent has offenses built around the ground game. I don't care what Packers fans say about Jordan Love. Josh Jacobs is 100% the key to Green Bay's offensive success. The Vikings have Aaron Jones. The Lions have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. The Niners have Christian McCaffrey when he's healthy. Every team they'll face in the coming weeks is going to try to run the ball down the Bears' throat. In those circumstances, I'd rather have a guy like Kyzir White on the field, someone who's been there, who's done that, who's not going to panic when things get tough. Jackson and Ogbongbemiga have played well, but maintaining that level of play for 6 more weeks against elite offenses is a lot to ask from guys who've never been regular starters. Look at what happened with CJ Gardner-Johnson. The Bears signed him mid-season, and he's been one of the best moves across the entire league. Why not try to have lightning strike twice? White isn't going to cost much. It's a low-risk move with high reward potential. Ryan Poles should be on the phone with White's agent right now. This team has aspirations of making a deep playoff run. You can't afford to be conservative when you have the chance to add a proven veteran who can help you win now. The Bears are at the top of the NFC. This is the time to go all in. What do you think about this? Should the Bears sign Kyzir White or trust the linebackers they have? Leave us your comment below. Now let's talk about the bomb that Ben Johnson dropped in his Monday press conference. And when I say bomb, I mean the Chicago Bears head coach basically admitted that the team's passing game isn't working. His exact words were devastating. We're winning in spite of our passing game, not because of it. And none of us are pleased with that right now. Let me repeat that. We're winning in spite of our passing game, not because of it. Those are strong words coming from the head coach, especially when you're talking about a rookie quarterback who's supposed to be the future of the franchise. Johnson came to Chicago with a reputation as an offensive genius. We all remember what he did in Detroit. He transformed Jared Goff from a guy people thought was done into an MVP candidate. He built one of the most explosive offenses in the league. And when he signed with the Bears, he challenged Caleb Williams to hit a 70% completion rate. Well, guess what? Williams hasn't reached that mark in any game this season. Not a single one. Entering December, He's completing just 58.1% of his throws. That's the lowest percentage among the 33 quarterbacks who qualify this season. The lowest. Now, Johnson tried to contextualize things a bit. He mentioned that Thursday's game in Philadelphia had swirling winds. Okay, that's fair. But then he went straight to the point about what needs to improve. We got to be fundamentally correct. The primary receiver, when he's open, we've got to make sure we hit him. And then all of our pass catchers. We just harped on it today. We need to be more disciplined in our route detail. That's not just a criticism of Caleb Williams. Johnson is saying the entire offense needs to improve. The receivers aren't running routes with the correct depth. The steps aren't precise. Everybody has a role to play to clean up this passing game. But let's be clear. When your head coach comes out publicly and says they're winning in spite of the passing game, that's a problem. The Bears have the 8th most productive scoring offense in the league. Williams has kept his interception rate below the league average with just 5 picks on 396 attempts. That's fine, but the completion percentage is the one glaring weakness in an offense that's otherwise been solid, and it's a big weakness. You can't win in January and February if your quarterback can't complete passes consistently. Think about it this way. The Bears are 9-3. They're the #1 seed in the NFC, but every team they're going to face in the playoffs is going to have elite defenses. You can't rely solely on the ground game when you're facing the Eagles, the Lions, the Niners, or the Cowboys in the playoffs. At some point, Caleb Williams is going to have to win a game with his arm, and if he's only completing 58% of his passes, that's not going to be enough. Johnson knows it. That's why he came out and said what he said. He's sending a message, not just to Williams, but to the entire offense. This isn't the time to be complacent. The Bears are in an incredible position, but if they don't fix the passing game, all this success could crumble in the playoffs. Johnson is pushing his quarterback to improve, and frankly, it's exactly what he needs to do. Williams has talent. We all see it. But talent only takes you so far. He needs to be more accurate. He needs to make better decisions. And he needs to do it now, because the schedule isn't getting any easier. Now, it's not all bad news for the Bears. In fact, there's a very specific reason why this team is at the top of the NFC. And Sports Illustrated insider Albert Breer just revealed it. The offensive line rebuild has been the key to Chicago's rebirth. And when I say rebuild, I mean Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson made the offensive and defensive lines their top priority from day one. Breer explained it perfectly. Because it's always about the quarterback. People are going to make this about Caleb Williams. But for Ben Johnson to get the most out of this Chicago team in his first season, he had to do what he was a part of in Detroit, making the offensive and defensive lines his and GM Ryan Poles' top priority from the jump. And that's exactly what they did. They traded for guards Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson. They signed center Drew Dalman. They drafted Ozzie Trapilo. On the defensive side, they signed Dio Odeyingbo and Grady Jarrett and took Shamar Turner with a 2nd-round pick. Now, because of injuries, that emphasis has tracked better on offense than defense. But look at the offensive numbers. The Bears have the 2nd-best ground attack in the NFL. They average 153.8 rushing yards per game and 4.8 yards per carry, which qualifies as 5th best in the league. DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai aren't the first 2 running backs people mention when talking about the NFL's best. But the duo has led the Bears to the 2nd-best ground attack in the league. And that doesn't happen without a dominant offensive line. Drew Dalman has been the center of it all. He signed a 3-year, $42 million contract to finally fix the Bears' center problem. And he's responded in a big way. Dalman has the highest Pro Football Focus grade on offense with 82.1. He's now a centerpiece to the team's success, both in 2025 and seasons to come. After the huge Week 13 win over the Eagles, Dalman said, "It's been an awesome effort from the coaches to put us in great spots. That's the humility you want to see from a leader." But let's be clear, Dalman and the rest of that offensive line are the reason the Bears can run the ball the way they do. They're the reason Caleb Williams has time to throw, even if he's not completing passes at the rate everyone wants. The Chicago Bears have long been a franchise that prides itself on running backs and linebackers, And the 2025 season has awakened that history of ground success. Swift and Monangai won't get all the headlines, but they're doing the dirty work that wins football games. And it all starts with the offensive line. Thuney, Jackson, Dolman, Trapilo. These guys are moving people. They're creating holes. They're protecting their quarterback. And they're making Ben Johnson's offense work. Breer is right. Everyone's going to talk about Caleb Williams because he's the quarterback. But if you want to know why the Bears are winning, look at the trenches. That's where games are being won. That's where Ryan Poles invested his money and his draft picks. And that's where this team has built its identity. The Bears aren't a fireworks team. They're not going to throw the ball all over the field like the Chiefs or the Dolphins. But they're going to run the ball down your throat. They're going to control the clock. They're going to wear down your defense. And they're going to win games the old-fashioned way. That's the formula. And as long as the offensive line keeps dominating, the Bears are going to keep winning. So there you have it. Kaiser White is available and could be the defensive reinforcement the Bears need. Ben Johnson just dropped a bomb about Caleb Williams' passing game. And the rebuilt offensive line is the real reason behind Chicago's success. The Bears are at the top of the NFC, but there's still work to be done. The passing game needs to improve. The defense needs to stay healthy. And Ryan Poles needs to keep being aggressive in the free agent market. If you want to be the first to know the latest Bears news firsthand before anyone else, subscribe right now. Don't miss a single update as this team chases a championship.